Hello, Intro to Computer Science. My name is Mr. Tennyson, and I'm the other computer science teacher in the Fern Creek program. If you're here, it's probably because Mr. Hughlin recommended that you visit this playlist so that you can get an early start on what we're going to learn next year in the class called Computational Thinking. Computational thinking is all about teaching our brains to think like a computer, and that's a pretty big problem to solve on its own. But we'll learn lots of techniques along the way to help us do that. As a symptom, as a side effect of learning to teach our brains to think like a computer, we're going to learn the programming language called Python. And Python is really the first legitimate text-based language you're going to learn in the computer science program, but it won't be the last. So just to kind of help you understand what you're about to see with these videos, I recorded the videos in this playlist about a year ago, so this is a very new video and all the other ones are pretty old. So you'll have to excuse the fact that some of them are a little bit long. Maybe I wasn't as good at making videos back then, but I do think that you'll get something out of them, and hopefully you'll get kind of an early primer on what we're going to be doing in computational thinking. I think it's a good way for you to spend your time at home starting to learn this language, and you can be ready for next year. And the first couple of months of computational thinking are typically pretty tough for students, just learning to adapt to that class. And so this is a great way to give yourself a leg up when we are in those first couple months, first semester of computational thinking. Okay? So, in order to get coding, I do have a video on how you can install Python on your home computer, actually install it on the machine itself. But a lot of times in class we don't have to worry about using a built-in Python installation. Instead, we're going to use this website called Replit, and it's where I'm at right now on my screen. What you should do is make an account on this website using your JCPS Google account. So sign up, click the little Google G that shows up when you sign up, and then as soon as you've done that, you can start making REPLs. Don't worry too much about what that REPL acronym means. We'll talk about it in class. All you need to know is that in order to start coding, you can click on New REPL. Click on New REPL. Okay, it worked that time. And you can choose whatever language you want to code in. So Replit, that's the name of the site, actually has tons of languages. You could code in C, Java, C++, but obviously we're going to code in Python today. So when you choose to code in Python, it'll give you this random name for your program. This one's Unhappy Apprehensive Astronomy. That's like when we find a black hole that's about to suck the Earth in, I guess. But you can change this, and I'll change mine to My First Hello World. And then I'll switch. You don't have this feature to switch it to private, so I'll just leave it like that, whatever. And then we'll create the REPL. Okay, now. It is a timeless and critical tradition. Every programmer, when they learn a new language, the very first thing they do is they tell the computer to say, hello world. And so that's what we're going to do right here. In order to do that with Python, the first thing we need is the print function. So print, like this, displays something to the console. And the console is this thing over here. This basically is going to show us the output of our program. This is where we're going to write our code, and this is where all the files appear. But you don't need to worry about that too much for right now. In order to print with Python, we need to give it a string. You should be familiar with these from Intro to Computer Science. And to make a string, we need either single quotes or double quotes. I like to use single quotes because I'm lazy and don't want to hit the shift key. So I'll say hello world. And now I've told the computer to say hello world in the console. You can either press Control Enter on your keyboard or click the Run button, and voila, you've written your first Python program. You're going to do a lot more coding in the videos that follow. The first couple of videos are going to talk about sort of the administrative stuff, like how to install Python and why we learn programming and why we learn Python in the first place. If you want to use Replit, you can skip the second video. If you don't care why we write programs, although that will become important at some point to this class and to you, you can skip the third video and go straight to the fourth. I think that's the first one where we really start to write a lot of code. I hope you enjoy this playlist. You're welcome to leave comments if you've got any feedback about how it could be improved. Please leave those for me. Until then, I guess I will see you next year. Happy coding.